distinguished Abian who is going to take his time to introduce himself for us to know him. And we'll discuss issues relating to Abia State, Ikwanwa Federal Constituency, and other sundry matters that will come up with the interview. I have my colleague here from Daily Post, Nigeria, in the person of Chejendoro. Go on. Chejendoro Emerowa is here. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, sir. We will start by getting to know you. Abians will really want to know you so that I can reel out your profile for people to get to meet you. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, my name is McDonald Oba. I was a commander in the Navy before I retired in 2012. I did a total of 27 years. I'm a member of the 7th regular course, Onura, which means I'm a regular officer. I happen to be from Umogo, Obakala. And upon retirement, I decided to do private business. And the name of my company is Jesse Marines Limited. We are into logistic support for the various IOCs. And then with what was crystallizing in the nation at the time, we decided to go into the solid mineral sector, where we acquired about 37 hectares of land between Abia and Ebonyi states, where we are engaged in the crushing of rocks for our road construction and general civil works industry. I am 52 years old and I'm married with children. That's a synopsis of my life. I have a master's in logistics from Ladoka Kintola University, and then I'm a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Shipping, and most of my life has been hovering around security and logistic support. My military training basically was in the area of above water warfare, which mainly concerns itself with every weapon that is deployed above the surface. Your intercontinental ballistic missiles, your surface-to-surface missiles, your surface-to-air missiles, those were the concentration of my specialization in the Navy, apart from being a navigator. And that's it.
Okay, sir. 2019 general election is fast approaching, and there are talks in some quarters that you have a political ambition come 2019. Do you have any political ambition?
Yes, I do. I have always had at the back of my mind that humanity, improvement on humanity, is my core value. the present state of things has warranted me, joining in the fray to contest for the Ikwano Umuahia Federal Constituency, to give my people proper and effective representation. I underline proper and effective representation. That's what I intend to do. And as a precursor to this, I've been involved in several activities that is geared towards the upliftment of our people. We've ensured that in my village we put up a health center, and then this is to ensure that, look, my people get proper health care, and so many other projects that are philanthropic. I wouldn't want it to seem as if I'm blowing my trumpet, but anything that is bordering on the welfare of my people has always been paramount in my drive. And to drive this home, I decided to run for the Ikwano Umuahia Federal Constituency.
Obviously, you would not run if you are comfortable with the existing system and the representation you are getting at the moment. Based on that, can you assess the current House of Representative member representing Umuahia Ikwano Federal Constituency in the person of Honorable Samoni?
Well, it's the basis for rating him is predicated on what he's been able to achieve, how many bills he has brought up on the floor of the House, and how has his representation affected the 3 local governments which form the Ikwano Umuahia constituency. They say when you marry 2 wives, you'll be able to know which one is better. I wouldn't want to say he has done well, I wouldn't want to say he has not done well. But let us have a change. Once we have a change, your works will speak for itself. So if by providence and hard work I happen to clinch the APGA ticket and then go on to win the election, you will need no crystal ball to tell you that somebody who has capacity is representing Ikwano Umuahia Federal Constituency. Just take a look at the OC Prestige, who is representing Abia Federal Constituency. See what he has brought to bear in that federal constituency. It is grandiose, and it is a reflection of his background. that's exactly what I will bring to bear in this federal constituency.
Okay, let me talk about your party. In the recent times, we've been having issues. We've been hearing sounds of war in the party. Why are you confident about running on that same platform, considering the sounds of war that has been prevalent recently?
Well, by my training, I'm not given to such innuendos. You don't chase shadows. The drums of war that is purported to be sounding is, to me, orchestrated by people who know the efficacy of the All People's Grand Alliance. And that in itself happened in 2014, where Ofomba was also used as a tool to kind of destabilize the party. We'll get by. There's no political party that is existing in this country that doesn't have seemingly these discordant tunes within them. So it's something that we'll overcome, and Abia will know the way forward.
On that same line, we have other contestants or aspirants for that same ticket in your party, APGA.
For my federal constituency.
For your federal constituency. Where's your confidence coming from that you'll be able to take the ticket?
The Hausa man says, Gafili, Gadoki. See ground, see fight. When we get to that bridge, we'll cross it. Nibasina it's a general axiom. So when we get to that bridge, we'll cross it. And once we cross it, it's like when David was confronting Goliath, and he said, I come to you in the name of the God of heaven and earth. I am approaching this contest with all humility, and I'm bringing to bear a wealth of experience which I make bold to say none of the contestants have such credentials as part of their armory. So when we get to that bridge, we'll cross it.
Okay, sir. The present PDP-led government in Abia State will mark 3 years in power, come May 29th. So far, what is your assessment of the present government? Do you think they have been able? Do you think they have lived up to people's expectations?
I will state categorically that the performance has been dismal. We have been very, very unfortunate in this state with the caliber of leaders we've had from inception, from Ojos Okalo to Chief T.A. Oji, and presently to Governor Okeze Ibazu. And the truth is not far-fetched. Not far-fetched in the sense that if you are not prepared for leadership, you will fumble once it is placed on your laps. We have had a system of leaders that have been foisted upon this state from inception. I'm not against their person, but if you take a comparative look at the other 4 eastern states, you find out that Abia is lagging far behind. Umuahia is like a glorified village. Go to Imo State, Owerri, you will see that there is activities going on. If you go to BCA Road in Umuahia, that is supposed to be the new capital, nothing is happening. You see empty plots of land as if that place is to be used for an agricultural settlement. You cannot see that around Concord Hotel. There's no land that you see vacant in that area. All these things are predicated on vision. And as far as I'm concerned, from start to present, they've not shown visionary leadership. Let's just take a simple example of what Owerri is, how cosmopolitan Owerri is. If we assume that there are just 5 higher institutions in Imo State, Federal University of Education, Alvan, Imo State University, Federal University of Technology, Owerri, Nekede Polytechnic, Umuagwo Polytechnic. It is a pedestal for which economic activities will thrive. The governor of Imo State does not need to inject too much for the economy of Owerri and its environs to thrive. Let's take, for example, if these 5, I know there are more, I'm just giving a conservative estimate. If these 5 institutions have a minimum of 20,000 students, which means for the 5 institutions you have about 100,000 students. And let's say of these 100,000 students, they spend 20,000 naira a month. That translates to something in the region of 2 billion naira circulating within Owerri. So which means keke drivers, Okada riders, food vendors, hotels, hairdressers, barbers have a share in that 2 billion that revolves within the state. What has he done differently? He has created roads, he has created an enabling environment for these institutions to thrive. The nocturnal life in Owerri is wonderful. But in Umuahia, by 7 o'clock, everybody is rushing home. Keke stops riding by 7. I don't know whether it's been extended to 9. Because of how small the town is, you cannot allow for taxis to come in to convey people. Because look, if the indices for economic activity are all latent. Why are they latent? Because the government has failed to ginger this particular position that we have as God's own state. They failed. We need somebody who will bring us out of these doldrums. Enugu, beyond comparison. Ebonyi, beyond comparison. Anambra, wow. Imo, where are we? It's a town that doesn't have a single street light. Words fail me.
So to interject there a little bit, this government of Governor Kizeba is barely about 3 years in government. And obviously, as an Abian, you do not expect that government to solve all the problems within this period.
Yeah.
But this government said that their focus will be to see how to put back Aba in order. And based on what people are saying, there are few roads in Aba which the government is putting together. Don't you think, based on those activities, you can give them a little pass mark?
I have never seen where you build a 4.5 kilometer road for 2.5 years. Fox Road is not more than 4 kilometers. Now, let me just do a comparative study for you. The Chokocho Eche Road is 6 kilometers in River State. It was built in 4 months. Chokocho Eche Road, 6 kilometers. In a terrain that is very, very bad. Was built in 4 months. Fox Road is 4 kilometers. Sound terrain. You don't have to do a lot of gravel parking. And it's taking a government close to 3 years to complete. I don't know whether we need special intelligence to tell us that is abysmal. Now, you say the government is just 3 and is about 3.5 years now. In River State, why I am mentioning River State is that Abia State is oil producing. We are part of the Niger Delta Development Commission.
Yes.
You don't need so much time to build such roads. Now you see the flyover at Osisioma. I don't want to go into the aspect of what they are making us believe, those roads cost. And I even don't know whether actually in the 2015, 2016, and 2017 appropriation, whether all those roads were part of it. I'm not going into that aspect. But we cannot say that because a government has been 3.5 years, What of in a situation where a government, the span of a government or a particular government is 4 years, no option of coming back again? You mean this will be the story? That we are just 3.5 years, and as such, the dividends I don't want to say dividends of democracy, but for lack of words, the dividends of democracy is not given to us because they've only spent 3.5 years? Come on. We have to call a spade and not a working material.
Okay, sir. Looking at the present Buhari-led government in the country, you can see what is happening in the country. Killings by the Fulani herdsmen. So, do you think the president has done enough, to curtail the activities of the Fulani herdsmen?
You see, that's a little tricky, coming from my background, in the armed forces. I feel this country, the armed forces have spread themselves very thin. Very thin in the sense that they are in several theaters at the same time. The police have not really done very well, which is also as a result of accumulation of corruption and misplaced priorities. Otherwise, it's a question of the body is willing, but the spirit is weak. The spate of killings has to be stopped, and the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces should take a fresh approach to see how all these problems that are rearing their heads up in different parts of the country should be nipped in the bud. That's how I see that aspect.
On the final note, sir.
Yeah.
On the final note, what do you have if you happen to get the ticket of APGA, and then you also happen to emerge as the winner of Omar Ikwano Federal Constituency? What are those things that you think you are going to address at the National Assembly once you step in there?
Yeah, the Ikwano Federal Constituency has not received proper and effective representation. I will use my wealth of experience in the National Assembly to ensure that bills that are, human-oriented, have a human face, that will alleviate the sufferings of the masses, will be placed on the floor of the House to ensure that we deliver to our people what is their due. Power belongs to them that elected us. So we should go beyond after elections, after the promises. We just wait for 4 years to come back and give the same set of empty promises. I am very, very happy with the level of awareness that is brewing at the moment. As it is, if you are incapable I know the electorate will not take a second look at you. And I also know that the Independent National Electoral Commission has put in place structures that will prevent what was the bane in the past from reoccurring. So, on that note, the people of this federal constituency should be rest assured that if you have my back, I will have your back too. That's my position on that.
Sir. Lastly, as the 2019 election, is approaching, what advice do you have for Abia electorates, and particularly the people of Iguano and federal constituency?
First of all, Abians should endeavor to be part of this process. You can't sit on the sidelines and be complaining. You can't sit on the sidelines and be complacent, be docile. You have to be part of this process by going and registering to vote. Then, after having cast your vote, you should stand by and ensure that those votes are counted, so that in the final analysis, those votes will count for the people or the persons that you voted for. That is my advice. Gone are the days when people relied on ballot box snatching and all the likes. Now, if you vote, wait for your votes to be counted, follow it up, make sure that those votes count for the person that you voted for. That's my advice to the electorate of Abia. And mind you, Abians are the ones that are worse for it in the present dispensation. Schools have been on strike. I mean, primary schools. Abia State University Teaching Hospital has been on strike. Abia Poly has been on strike. These represent the crop of our future leaders. What example are we showing? Teachers not paid, lecturers not paid, salaries not paid for civil servants. What kind of prompting do you need to vote out a government that has failed you in the basic things? Even the Holy Scriptures has told you the wages of a worker should be paid. Why should you owe workers? Why? We have received bailout funds 3 times. And these bailout funds were released for payment of salaries. Other states pay salaries before 25th. Only Abia State. And we are owing in arrears of several months. It is inconceivable that the average Abia man, students and the like, are highly impoverished. So the onus lies on them. The onus is entirely theirs to ensure that they bring about a change that will see to the welfare of the citizenry, and that will move the state from these doldrums that we have been left for the past 17 years. Bring us out from there and put us on a path of prosperity. This is God's own state, for crying out loud. That's my admonishment to the electorate of Abia State. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for this opportunity to be with you.
Thank you very much.
We hope that in the future, if other things come up, we can have this opportunity to also interact with you.
Yeah, it's been my pleasure.
Thank you, sir.
And I pray God to grant us the opportunity to actually serve in the capacity we are seeking for. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.